All right, let's talk about something pretty much all of us do every single day. Use our digital wallets. But have you ever really stopped to think about what's actually going on in there? Well, we're about to peel back those invisible layers.
You know the drill, right? You tap your phone to grab a coffee, you hear that little beep, and you're on your way. It feels completely seamless, almost like magic. But behind that one simple tap, there's a whole world of complexity firing off. So, what really just happened under the hood?
And this quote kind of gets right to the heart of it. For all the amazing tech we carry around in our pockets, the back end, the part you never ever see, is often a tangled mess of systems. That beautiful, slick app on your phone, it's just the very tip of a massive iceberg. Okay, so let's start peeling this onion. The first thing you gotta understand is that the one app on your phone isn't just one thing. It's more like a single door into a gigantic digital ecosystem. And this is where you start to see just how huge this whole thing is. See, you're using the customer app, but at that exact same time, the coffee shop is using a merchant portal. Big companies have their own enterprise portals for things like payroll. And there are even special portals for developers, for government agencies, and for the admins who run the whole show. It's this vast, interconnected world, and your app is just one tiny window looking in. So let's go a layer deeper. If all those portals and apps are the shiny faucets you can see and touch, what about the pipes hidden behind the wall? In a world that's obsessed with building cool new apps, the most important work, the real heavy lifting, is happening in the invisible infrastructure, the digital plumbing that makes everything flow. And here's basically how that plumbing works. It's a three-step dance. First, the system aggregates. It takes all the different ways to pay, cards, mobile money, bank transfers, and bundles them all into one super efficient connection. Then it processes. Think of this like a smart traffic cop, routing your transaction in real time down the right path. And finally, settlement. This is where the money actually arrives where it's supposed to go, all automatically checked and balanced. So you have all this incredible technology, all these interconnected systems, this powerful engine moving money around at the speed of light. But all of it, every single bit, is completely worthless without trust. I mean, how do you trust that your money is safe? And how does the system trust that the people and businesses using it are legit? And that brings us to the deepest, most important layer of them all. This is the bedrock, the one that holds the entire ecosystem up. It's the compliance and risk management layer. The best way to think about it is as the system's invisible guardian, always on duty, constantly working in the background to keep everything safe and sound. So how does this guardian actually do its job? Well, it's got a seriously powerful toolkit designed to shut down risk, to stop financial crime, and to make sure the whole system is playing by the rules. So let's pop open that toolkit and see what's inside. First up, you've got something called KYC. It stands for Know Your Customer, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. Before you can even get in the door, the system needs to know who you are. This is where you verify your identity with official documents to prove you are who you say you are. It's the first line of defense against fraud. And right next to it, there's its twin, KYB, or Know Your Business. Same exact idea, but for companies. So that coffee shop you're paying, they had to go through this. The system checks their official registration docs, their tax info, who's authorized to run things, the whole shebang. This is what keeps shady or fake businesses out of the ecosystem. So, to boil it all down, KYC is for people and KYB is for businesses. One verifies your personal ID to stop individual bad actors. The other verifies a company's ID to stop fraudulent businesses from getting in. Both are absolutely fundamental to building that foundation of trust. Now, once everybody's in, the Guardian's job is far from over. Now it deploys AML, or anti-money laundering monitoring. This system is like a detective that is constantly watching every single transaction, 24/7, looking for suspicious patterns that might be a sign of financial crime. The second it spots something that looks off, it immediately flags it for a human to review. And this is where the system gets really proactive. It doesn't just react to problems, it actively tries to predict them. It has what's called a risk scoring engine, which assigns a risk score to every user, every business, and even every single transaction. And this score changes in real time based on behavior, which lets the system focus its attention where the risk is highest. And trust me, the toolkit is deep. The system is also constantly screening against global sanctions lists, running dedicated fraud detection systems, automatically filing reports to authorities, complying with complex data sharing rules,
and keeping unchangeable, tamper-proof audit logs of absolutely everything. It's a comprehensive, multi-layered defense.
So, why did we just go so deep into the weeds on all this compliance stuff? Because this invisible layer is what makes everything else possible. It is the true foundation of modern digital finance. Period. You see a number like this, 99.95% uptime? That means the financial highways are almost always open for business. That incredible reliability doesn't just come from good code. No way. It's only possible because this robust, invisible foundation of compliance creates a stable, secure, and trustworthy environment for money to move around in. And that right there is the key takeaway. The next time you tap to pay, remember that the magic isn't in the app. The real innovation, the thing that enables our entire seamless financial future, is this deep, complex, and totally essential foundation of compliance and trust. It's the plumbing, not the faucet. Which leaves us with one last thing to chew on. In a world that is so focused on the next shiny user interface, is it possible that the most game-changing innovation of all is the one that's happening in these invisible layers? The one we're never even supposed to see? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.